Hello, this is Beverly from scrapandthread.blogspot.com. Today I wanted to show you how to use your Cricut cartridge, the Artiste from Close to My Heart, and how to set it up for cutting. If you're new to Cricut, then this may be new information for you. If you have a way to manipulate it in software, then certainly some of these things can be adjusted. But to put the cartridge straight into the machine and to be able to use it, sometimes you need to know the orientation of how the cuts are going to be done and what the sizes mean. So this is the very first page that has the different things that can be cut, and this is the number one, and this is just the regular cut on it, and you can put it in any size that will fit onto your paper, and then the exclamation mark is with the shift button and the 1. And then each of these other keys has a different name. So this is accent 1, accent 2, accent 3, accent 4, the card, and then these are three-dimensional things. And what I'm going to tell you about the cuts initially has to do with all of the things except for the 3D one that's in color here. So when you're putting your paper into your Cricut, then this is also a good way to think of how the orientation will be for the cuts. So if you turn your booklet so that it's perpendicular to the machine, this is how the cuts will be. So let's say you want to do this doily here. Your cut would be starting up here in this corner, and it would go around in this direction, and so your paper would come back out like this. So this is important to know for things that are not circular, because a circle or a square is going to be pretty much the same one way or the other. But for things like borders and other things like the boxes, the cards, and stuff like that, this would be more important to know. So for instance, on this accent 1, the border will be cut going in a perpendicular way, just like this booklet is, to the side of the machine. And so the measurement that you're putting in is from the top to the bottom of whatever this figure is here. In this case, it's a border. So I made some examples to show you what I'm talking about so that you can see what this really means. So for instance, this number 1 up here was cut at 1.5 inches, and the exclamation mark was cut at 1.25 inches, and so that's pretty self-explanatory, and you can see the difference there. But then if you look at this first border here, this one happened to have been cut also at 1.5 inches. This is the exact same border. It was cut at 1/2 inch. So you can see that the measurement is from here to here, or from here to here. So in addition to making it longer, obviously, it does make the entire border bigger. So it's your measurement that you want to put in is for what you're looking for as far as the depth on it. So this was, as I said, this was 1/2 inch. This one's 3/4 inch. This one is 1 inch, and then that one is 1.25 inch. These are all on that same sheet here. These are the other parts of the accents. The borders are the accents when you push the shift key, and then these are all the accents that are here. These are all cut at 2 inches, and the reason why I did all 4 of them at the same size was I wanted to show that some of them you can see the detail in it shows up really well even in a smaller design. But on a small design like this, you can barely see the little dots. It's supposed to be this design. I mean, that is what it is, but you can't see the little figures cut out as well. They're there, but they're very tiny. And so that has a lot to do with the size. So the larger you get, the more of the detail that you will see. So that's kind of a basic overall for that, but I wanted to also talk about the card function on here. There's a card option, and then the one next to it is the envelope. These were both cut at 3 inches, and I made the card, it's on pattern paper, and as well as the envelope is too. It's 3 inches because, once again, remember, if you put it in and you look at it as though this is the edge where the cutter would be, the measurement is going to be from this side to this side. So I wanted a 3-inch card, and so that's what that would give you right there. It's 3 inches from here to here. When it's folded, it has a decorative detail here, but when it's folded, it would be a 3-inch card. And the envelope, you'll fold in the edges and fold up the bottom flap and then the top flap, and this, you can see, will fit inside. And so even though this is going to be a little bit larger than 3 inches across, it's considered 3 inches for the purposes of the card. So you want to have that coordinated with your envelope. So that's how you do that. Then the next thing that's in the booklet is the 3-dimensional object, and there's also a tag here. So this was cut also at 3 inches because it's a measurement from here to here. And then the cute little purse, which doesn't look like a purse or a kind of an envelope purse, doesn't look like one at this point, but you can see that this overall shape is certainly larger than 3 inches. And this is where I was telling you that there is a difference in how you look at the cuts. This one has a little red arrow, and it says 3 inches after that, or 8 centimeters. And the arrow is a vertical arrow. So what that's telling you is that when it's done being cut and assembled, it will be 3 inches tall. So you want to cut it at 3 inches, and then that'll give you your 3-inch tall purse, or whatever the 3D object is. Some of them are boxes, you know, there's all different kinds of things on this cartridge. So that's kind of an important thing to keep in mind. Sometimes you can make them larger if your Cricut will accommodate a larger size, and you can adjust that on your Cricut by pushing fit to page. And once again, if you have software where you can manipulate things, you can certainly change some of the things on here. This is just in reference to people who would prefer to just stick the cartridge in and go. So there's one other thing that I wanted to point out, and that is there's some mini books in here. And even though they may look like they would be able to accommodate each other's hole sizes or placement, they really don't. So all the ones on this page correspond with each other, and you're fine. You can cut them at any size and they will go ahead and line up. However, these don't line up with these, and these just barely line up with these. But once again, the first set won't line up with this last set. So that is something to keep in mind, that they're not interchangeable in that way. But if you wanted to use them together, you could by placing over, you know, like another piece of cardstock or something, and repunching the holes on that. No one would know any different if you like the different shapes to put them in there. And certainly if you had software to manipulate them, you could move the holes over. But in punching them out, or excuse me, in having them cut out by the Cricut, initially, I think it's important to know that some things are very interchangeable, and other things you just have to sort of work with it to get it to work the way you want it to. So I hope that was helpful, and if you have any questions, please leave me a comment or visit my blog. This is Beverly at scrapandthread.blogspot.com. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.